Great. Good morning, friends, and thanks a lot for joining in on a Sunday morning as always. And today, this session will be really interesting. So before I even start the session and set some context, maybe for 10 seconds, I would just like to, for all our viewers, a request to just close your eyes and just get into that meditation mode and see how it pans out for you, right? So imagine standing amidst millions at the Mahakumbh Mela, witnessing the spiritual flavor that transcends borders, or cheering for the Indian cricket team as they lift the Champions Trophy, uniting fans worldwide. Or imagine this picture, the electrifying energy of concerts featuring global icons like Coldplay or Diljit, drawing crowds from across continents. These moments encapsulate India's unique ability to blend faith, sports, music into a vibrant tapestry that captivates travelers globally. So this was my way of saying that how did you feel on this Sunday morning, imagining this picture or this moments in your thoughts. So today we would like to delve into how these cultural phenomena are not just enriching our lives, but also powering India tourism boom. Imagine the calendar, right? That the dates calendar, what we just flip every day, were an Instagram handle. And that is a thought with which I just woke up in the morning because I had to do this event today. And I was wondering if calendar was an Instagram handle, it would have been undoubtedly have millions, if not billions of followers. And why that? Because the one thing on everyone's mind today is taking a break from the daily grind. I think in this world that has moved beyond the basic needs of roti, kapda, makan, aspirations have become the new necessities and driving economies and shaping lifestyles. So today we have with us a speaker for the day, Robin Arya from GoalFi. And I'm sure we all know Robin. We had earlier sessions as well with Robin, and Robin has been on small case for a while now, and one of our most popular small case managers. Robin is a visionary in the financial landscape and the founder of GoalFi, as I just said. And with a keen eye on emerging trends, Robin has been instrumental in identifying a lot of investment opportunities tied to India's thriving sectors. And one of the sectors which has come up today on Robin's radar is the tourism sector. His expertise in crafting innovative investment strategies actually made him the perfect guide, not the tourist guide, the investment guide, investor's guide, to help us navigate this booming industry and uncover the ways to capitalize on its growth. So great, Robin. Thanks a lot for joining in today and make us aware about this interesting theme, what we will be talking about for the next 30-40 minutes. And of course, as always, we will be taking questions from our investors as well. And thanks for being our guide in this financial journey today.
Thank you, Rakeshji. Fabulous start. Fantastic start of Monday with Navratri starting with Happy Ugadi to all of you, to you and to your viewers. So absolutely very excited to be here for the next 30-40 minutes, and we'll go deep into what we are doing with the new theme, why now, and why this is becoming the next big thing in equity markets. So yeah, let's start.
Okay. So when you said the next big thing or the big thing, let's start with the big thing first then, Robin. Let's talk about the big picture. Why do you think that now is the right time to launch a tourism basket or a small case? What are the macroeconomic factors which you saw will be driving the growth for this sector in specific? And what is this sector all about? Like, what is the landscape of tourism all about? It would be great if you can just give us the big picture, and then, of course, we will get into the details.
Sure. See, we have a saying, Atito Devo Bhava. That's our saying, which means guest is our God. ये जो हमारे ethos है ना, the ethos which we carry, I think that attracts a lot of tourists, not just, of course, our expats, our kind of NRI diaspora, but from a lot of foreigners, kind of, if you see year on year, the count is increasing. We were after COVID, of course, we had a lot of impact due to COVID, and post-COVID, we were in the phase of revenge tourism. We all were saying as revenge tourism, revenge travel, but that also is now over. Now it has become a norm. If you think about if you look at the infrastructure all around, if you have to say want to have a weekend getaway, you can simply kind of take out your car and see fabulous road, fabulous infrastructure built for you over the last 4 5 years. And to kind of get there, you need a hotel to kind of stay, you need a food joint to kind of stay, I mean, while you travel, you would kind of stop by and enjoy your meal with your family. So the entire landscape of travel, which used to be कि ठीक है मई में छुट्टियां आएंगी बच्चों की, then we'll do vacation, and then December में छुट्टियां आएंगी, then we'll do vacation, has now changed into a daily thing. It is whether it is business travel, whether it is kind of luxury travel, whether it is religious travel, whether it is even medical tourism. So the theme of tourism has now gone much beyond than used to be traditional summer breaks and winter breaks. It has now become a norm. And the reason has been, of course, of the massive support government has been doing. If you look at our government initiatives, the macro picture is Dekho Apna Desh, the kind of initiatives, Swadesh Darshan, kind of Prasad initiative, which the current government has been doing. You see the massive scale what you kind of started with in terms of Mahakumbh. Now, Mahakumbh is one example set by one state government. It will now kind of continue with other state governments whenever they see if not the Mahakumbh, but the Kumbh will happen in those kind of states, right? Whether it is Ujjain or any other. And if you look from that perspective, middle class has aspirations now. Middle class income is now increasing with the recent kind of tax cuts as well. We have some extra money in our pockets, and that extra money will eventually go into consumer businesses. And travel as a sector is too broad, because we think about travel as, say, maybe airlines, but travel is much beyond airlines. Travel is from your luggage to your rail, to your airline, to your QSR, to your hotels, to your ticketing services, to your hospitals as well. As I said, right, medical tourism always has been very big in India. The city I belong to have very premier institutes where a lot of Middle East kind of travel, and for their medical purposes, and that has been constantly increasing year on year. Religious tourism, as for example, has taken a completely different shape after Ram Mandir, after Ayodhya. And if you look at like the famous Tirupati Darshan, the number of, and if you look at the entire kind of Mahakal, the change happened, the entire corridor. 1 year tourists used to be now 1 month. The tourists used to come for 1 year count, and now coming in kind of 1 month, right? That is the kind of change we have seen. Half of our country was in Kumbh, as we all know. And to kind of create an infrastructure, we have a lot of luxury tents there, and there are companies which are listed in India which are behind those setups. Right, there were QSRs which are kind of providing the necessary consumer deliverables to 50 crore people, and they are all beneficiaries of this change. So tourism so we have two new things coming. We are calling as a new age consumption, and new age consumption is, say, in terms of food delivery services and all of that. But tourism as a concept is also kind of covering new age consumption as well. And that is where I think this is a mega trend which will kind of play over the next 4 5 years in a big way. Also, if you look at our GDP growth, right? So if you are growing at 7 8%, and if you have kind of seen 2 days ago, our Union Minister of kind of tourism, he was stating that tourism is growing at 24%. So a sector which is growing 3 times in the GDP, I think it brings a lot of potential there. So that's why we are very kind of bullish on this theme.
Got it. Pretty interesting. In fact, and I was just chatting with you, Robin, that you are just back from a vacation. So I'm sure you have picked up a lot of the ground realities as well. And I'm sure, though you were on a vacation, but technically, I think you were on a research also for your tourism small case. And I'm sure a lot of that insights must have gone into it. So coming back to this theme, right? I'm sure when we say a consumer is spending a lot on tourism, but as we all know that there is a single wallet which goes into multiple sectors for spending. So how would you see tourism as an industry compared to, say, other consumer-driven sectors like retail or FMCG in terms of long-term growth potential? Like, how is this trend sustainable, or do you see that this trend is here to stay, or it is there for, like, say, next couple of months or years kind of thing?
See, like as you said, right, roti kapla makan ke beyond, now the thought has kind of changed. Plus, post COVID, we all thought that this is revenge tourism, and of course people were kind of stuck in their houses and they wanted to go out and they wanted to spend. But because of the massive support from the government, right, because the massive kind of now the state can take loans up to 50 years without any interest from the center to kind of invest in any kind of sector which will kind of promote tourism. So India, is kind of positioned very unique if you say in compared to Thailand, which of course kind of attract a lot of tourism, but all that tourism is because of the kind of foreigners which visits kind of those kind of countries, whether it is Thailand or Spain. But if you look at India, right, India has a lot of potential from domestic tourism. So we, of course, we are maybe at 30th place or 40th place in the world index in terms of tourism. But if you kind of look at where is the meat is within our Indian consumers, and the entire theory around staycation, work from remote, right? You work out of kind of say a resort, that has completely now coming into the Gen Z and kind of this generation. And therefore, if you look at the roti kapla makan kind of consumption, which we kind of referred to, that anyhow is part of your kind of non-discretionary spend, right? So, but once you have extra 10,000 a month, right, or say 20,000 a month with you, 50,000 a month with you, you would like to, of course, experience now. So the change which is happening is, of course, you have that entire. So you have now on a phone of in a click of from your app, you can book a ticket. You can, and there are only kind of very few companies which enable you to do that. So they are kind of market dominant players there, and you should kind of capture their growth, because a lot of people are now kind of turning to with Udan schemes in the last 10 years. I think our airports have gone down to double from 70 odd airports. We are now 140 airports, right? So the entire push which is coming from the last 10 years, which we thought kind of will not play out during COVID, has now started to, we started to now see the benefits of that entire infrastructure, which the fabulous roads we have. So see, the way we are looking at is, if you look at in Nifty launched a tourism index also somewhere around September, October last year, right? So 6, 7 months old. And in India, I think there is only two fund houses out of all the 40 plus fund houses which have a tourism kind of index fund. But that's very restricted, I would say, right? That's very restricted to only few sectors. We are thinking much beyond. We are thinking that it is anything which enable new age consumption, which is not just, of course, about airlines, which is much beyond airlines, which is anything ancillary, right? Anything ancillary to travel. So, and of course, travel being one of the largest kind of services sector in the country after financial services, travel and tour related services are the one of the highest employment generator also. If you look at the data, and therefore this is here to stay. This is a long-term play. And coming back to your point around few months, I think this is a story which will not be realized in few months. This is only a long-term story, because if you look at even the last, say, we are in a very tough phase of market from the last 3, 4 quarters, and if you look at the only companies which are surviving in these quarters are the companies which are a part of this new age consumption, the part of this tourism. If you look at the entire, I mean, I would not like to kind of take names of the companies, but if you look at two-digit growth in terms of profitability margin, in terms of kind of growth margin, the only sector which is kind of clearly kind of coming out after all of this kind of corrective we have been seeing in the market is anything to do around hospitality, tourism. And आपको ट्रैकिंग पे जाना है तो यू नीड टू बाय गियर्स, राइट? आपको आपको घर के बाहर गाड़ी निकालना है, then you need to kind of be a part of that new age consumption. So I think that is where the theme we want to play. And therefore, I also, I think we are the first one, maybe you may correct me, that there is no other product on Smallcase yet around tourism as a theme and any active product. So that's also kind of, we feel we have analyzed a lot of data, and we have kind of realized that usually people have very less kind of exposure to this sector as part of their existing. They are again going to the kind of the known big names, the large caps. So this sector, which again another differentiating factor we have built is Nifty Tourism Index is, say, on Nifty 500. We have taken Nifty entire universe and then kind of playing on it. So that's another differentiating factor we are thinking.
And one more interesting thing which I observed is that this is again one of the very last sector from the business point of view, but it has a lot of unorganized play, right? So I'm sure there would be a lot of opportunities where over a period of time where things get from unorganized to organized, and it will keep on throwing a lot of opportunities of new companies as well.
Absolutely. See, all these large players, and there are very few. So if you talk about, say, a travel bag company, there are very few, you can name it. There are very few which are market leaders. So they have 60-70% market share, and we know the name, right? Very, very common name, which where we buy bags. But now all of these, as you said, unorganized players are now getting merged into those organized players, right? And that is where they are becoming bigger and bigger. So that's how I think the entire plays, plus the entire food chains, right? The big brands, they're also kind of run by Indian companies because of kind of they have the franchise, they own the franchisees, and therefore, I think if you look at say 7, 8, 9 different kind of subsectors within tourism, I think that kind of makes a very kind of a diversified portfolio. So one theme which we might want to allocate as a sector is not actually a very specific one sector theme. It's a very broad theme which covers 8, 9 subsectors and gives you necessary diversification as well.
Great. So you just gave me some cues for my next question, and maybe we can double tap on that itself. So let's try to understand the tourism small case which you have just crafted for all our investors.
Sure.
And it would be great maybe for the next 5-10 minutes you can just walk us through the entire journey of uh, creating this small case and how it has come to life that today all our investors can invest in this small case with a click of a button, just like they can click their airline tickets or travel stays. I'm sure we have made that simple for somebody to take exposure to this small case. So it would be great if you can just
Sure.
present your screen. I think you have
So I'll
covered.
share my screen. Yeah, I'll share my screen, and please confirm if you can see as well. So I
Sure.
put together a very simple 2-3 slider just to kind of give you some kind of context. Can you confirm you can
Yeah.
see my
Yeah.
slide? Okay.
I
So
can see
yeah,
that.
so as you started with, right, the Mahakumbh, you see the beautiful picture there with a lot of half of our country being there. So see, and of course we missed to kind of put disclosures. I did not take any name, but in case I end up taking a name of a company as part of an example, it's all kind of information only, and investment and securities are subject to market risk, and the disclosures are also present here. So I think that's what I was kind of trying to say, that it's a very big opportunity because we kind of are growing at a very, very 24. If you see 2-digit growth, that to a 24 kind of CAGR is the place you want to be. You want to be in a place which is growing at 2 digits up, high 2 digits. And if you look at what I was referring to as the speech from the union minister, we are growing at 24% in this versus GDP of 8%, and therefore we are becoming a third largest aviation market. We are also to kind of $250 billion contribution by next couple of 5 years. Mahakumbh has now set up a base for religious tourism to become very, very big across states, and a lot of support central government is providing to state, whether it is free loans, whether it's about adding it to the part of the kind of annual budget, union budget, and medical tourism, and it was anyhow one of big in country, and now it's becoming bigger and bigger. So from Mahakumbh to medical travelers flying from 80 plus countries, India tourism industry is not just booming, it's evolving into a full scale economic engine is the whole theme. Why it's an opportunity now? Because as I said, sometimes we overlook tourism stocks, thinking that they're highly valued, thinking that there's only one player in the market, but we need to be a part of that journey. Even though if there's only one airline in the country which is doing exceptionally well over others, it needs to be part of your kind of portfolio, maybe in a different kind of weightage, maybe a reduced weightage to start with, so that whenever you get a better price, and we are here to do that, we will always be able to kind of manage the weightage, the kind of allocation to that company basis what we see at the right value. And whether it is infra push, whether it is about the Vande Bharat, the entire infrastructure what the government has done has been kind of phenomenal over the last few years. What we are covering airlines, we are covering hotels, hospitality, railways, religious tourism, medical tourism, and food services. And that's the kind of composition we have. Our approach goes back to multi-factor as we ethos are, and therefore the difference we are doing from a standard tourism index is absolutely that is a size dependent index, which means larger the company by market cap, it will have higher weightage. We don't operate like that. We operate on growth, quality, and momentum. We simply mean that we need to make sure that the company is returning a return on equity of of a sustainable size, so that we can continue to see quarter on quarter growth in terms of margins, in terms of their profitability, and also the company needs to be great on balance sheet. some momentum factor is added to kind of capture the trend, because there are 8 subsectors we are playing. Then of course we make sure that the revenue of those companies are coming from some kind of exposure to tourism. It's a quarterly review and need basis rebalance. Who should invest? Absolutely, who are looking for thematic growth, long-term believers in India's economy, because it will be parallel to economy, right? So as we grow, as we continue to grow, as our we call per capita GDP, right, number will increase, we'll have more money at hand to spend. And where we will spend, we'll spend on food joints, we'll spend on tourism, we'll spend on taking our parents to religious tourism, or going ourselves to Goa or to Maldives, or wherever. And that also to go to kind of foreign destinations, we will use our own domestic airlines. That's what kind of will be the kind of whole idea. And the point is not about next 6 months; it's about riding the 5-10 year kind of trend. How to invest? It's available on a Smallcase, as you can just simply search tourism titans. The minimum investment is capped at 85,000, so only kind of it's a base starting point, rebalance quarterly, and it covers what is the current structure. We have large cap, mid cap, small cap in this ratio, what you see on the screen, with some liquid also right now kind of added to make sure that we can deploy that additional 10% also when the markets have shown some more strength. And if you look at on the right side, it covers hospital and diagnostic chains, hotel, resorts, construction, engineering. So a difference with our traditional index fund versus what we are building is you will see hospitals here, you will see construction companies here, which you will not see say as part of the kind of broad index, and restaurant, cafes, airlines, online services, right, ticketing services and all of that, and theme park. This is also becoming very big, right? That there's a long weekend and we want to kind of go to a theme park, amusement park. So that's about it. And to see it on the system, you can absolutely go to the microsite or to the Smallcase app and look at tourism titans here. The methodology is also explained here, which is how do we do, which is the universe we are selecting, which all sectors we are checking, what is our research behind, what exactly we mean by growth, what exactly we mean by quality, what exactly we mean by momentum as a kind of factor, what all we check during our screening of the Smallcase, and how do we assign weight. So we don't assign weight by market cap, rather we assign weight by the factor, and we have capped 20% as a cap to a particular kind of stock, so that we are not over concentrated on one company. And it's a quarterly review and need basis rebalance, and that's about it, Rakesh ji.
Perfect. I think you have given a very glimpse of what is there in the Smallcase and what people can expect from this. So now coming to some very, very pertinent questions, which is always there on investors' mind. And of course, we cannot predict the future or markets and all that, but I'm sure directionally, if you can just help us on a couple of things on this very specific Smallcase, that what kind of returns can investors expect from tourism theme basket, and how does it compare with NIFTY or other benchmark indices in terms of historical performance? So if you can just share some color on that, I think that will just give us and investors a sense of some direction and what to expect from this investment, and whether it's a, for a lack of better word, all-weather investment theme, or does it have a cyclicality risk like any other sector?
Yeah, so I think just to talk about specific number, I don't think we can talk about a specific number, but it talks about kind of how much it would kind of be able to beat the base index. And I would like to first tackle the question about cyclicality. I think that is the entire kind of point or notion we had when we look into tourism, say 10 years ago. That only May and say Jan and December are 3 periods, whether it is the long Sankranti leaves in the south, or the May holidays and June holidays for kids in the entire country for school, and winter holidays. I think that has completely changed. I travel a lot for business. I'm sure you also travel a lot for business, and you would see the state of our airports, right? As you said, I just finished Dwarkadish, Somnath, right, as my kind of research work also for tourism titans, and I of course traveled to Rajkot from Hyderabad. It's a very new airport, and look at at what speed that is now growing. We traveled on weekdays, thinking that okay, let's avoid, or we went to Dwarkadish or went to Somnath on a weekday to kind of see, let's avoid the weekend. There's no difference on a weekday and a weekend, right? It's absolutely the same kind of rush, which means that there is very high footfall happening in all of these places, and it is not restricted to, we went in kind of March. It's not holidays, right? And still, you had to be in long queues to get the darshan of the deity. So the whole point around cyclicality, I think, is no longer valid. We have tourism as a sector, or these services which are used in this sector, has now moved beyond tourism that we experience day in day out when we go out from our home. Second, this is a sector which everybody can relate to. So usually I tell retail audiences, invest in something which you are consuming yourself. That is kind of is the first starting point, right? That you of course consume dal roti atta, which companies you kind of buy it. Of course you can, but those companies, they grow at a very single digit kind of growth because of the kind of margin they bring. But these kind of companies, right, which are a part of this industry, are have monopolistic businesses. They have a biggest market share. And as you talked about unorganized moving to organized, they are even beneficiaries of that, which means they are in such market conditions also able to sustain a two-digit growth, which is not seen, in other sectors. Now, in terms of performance, maybe I can kind of give you a reference from, again, sharing one kind of data, if that is okay. And I'm okay to share it because it is public data and not something which I have pulled together. So it is something which is a base for us, which is by the NIFTY itself, which is a tourism index. And the way we want to play this, we are beyond this, right? The differentiating factor we have added is we are much concentrated, because we believe in concentration in terms of we have to have because we are actively managed. This is passive fund. That's why this is last set of companies. First of all, we are concentrated. Second, we are covering more sectors than you will see it here, which you see here. You see kind of 6-7 sectors. We are covering even hospitals, because medical tourism is a big theme for us. We are covering amusement parks. We are covering diagnostic chains, right? We are covering all those themes which are not here. Now, if the base index, which is of course, this is historical data, but the kind of things have changed now. The tide is now turning. And so if this has done well over the last 25 years of data, if you see, which is the base tourism index, and I can to kind of relate to it, you can simply see here that investment horizon, because we need to look at rolling returns, right? It's very important, because nobody can time the market, right? Nobody can time the market. We always have to look from a rolling return basis. So we have to see, this talks about the percentage in terms of how much percentage the tourism as a theme, if we outplay, go back in time, has outperformed the base index, right? The base index is used as, say, NIFTY here, right? And it talks about the kind of different numbers, that okay, it has beaten by 0 to 5%, by 5 to 10%, by 10 to 15%. So that is kind of numbers. And this is very promising. So, and this is promising even when this was not the main theme. This is now turning a main theme. So when this data is very promising, and the kind of government initiatives we have right now in terms of how much FDI is allowed, kind of the entire shift into infrastructure, this brings a very, and this of course talks about some companies here, which is of course public data, and therefore it's okay to share on the screen. This is not our small case. This is the public index, but R is beyond this. We have kind of applied our own growth factors, our own kind of quality factors to kind of filter it out further. So to give that perspective here in terms of return, I am very optimistic about this theme generating alpha over 3 to 5 year period. And therefore, as a caution, it is not something a very short-term theme. It is not a theme which will say become big and then suddenly fade away. This is here to stay, and everybody who has kind of the risk appetite to be in a sectoral specific kind of theme for the next 5-10 years should kind of think about this. See, if you look from our GoalFi perspective, right, we have only 2 themes for now. And that is, one is India's financial growth story, which we called Wealth Wave earlier, and second is tourism. So these are the only 2 themes which I am very bullish on personally, or my money is there, because India's financial growth story is the growth story of our country, right? The better where it is credit to SMEs, and the entire story around capital markets growth. Same way, tourism is the theme, which is the next big thing, or the theme for the next year, if we call it next few years, because that is where the entire benefits around income tax rebate, the entire benefit around the ability for you to kind of experience that luxury in tourism, and I think that is where the returns is the byproduct of what you consume. So if you consume a product, if you use the services, if you go to I think a very good PMS manager, I saw him quoting, right, how Indigo has kind of changed their strategy, again name just for the sake of reference, by reducing the hot ovens from the flight so that the weight is reduced in the flight, and they save 10 minutes every time they deboard, because they can now deboard from both the sides, and how they are saving the fuel and saving crores of money every year. So they are smart businesses, right? And there are very few companies in those space right now, which are profitable businesses, and we need to be a part of. I mean, we need to make ourselves a part of those growth stories. Look at hotels you stay when you say come to Hyderabad, or when you visited Hyderabad. We used to get them at one third of the price they are now. We get them, right. So we used to get them at what, 5,000-6,000 rupees. Now we don't get them at 15,000 rupees also, and therefore, and we are happily spending it, right. We're happily spending that money. I travel for 5 days, of course, spend a lot of money, right, in hotels, and that is where the consumption is going, and that is the direct, and those are the companies which are direct beneficiaries, right, of that consumption. And therefore, the financial growth story, our earlier theme, and the entire tourism theme are very big themes for the next 3-5 years. So return, don't quote a number because I don't know, but I think it is there to generate alpha for sure.
Sure. Interesting, Robin. So as you rightly said, and that has been one of the I think a lot of investors have been championing this thought that where are you spending most of your money? You should invest in some of the best companies in that sector. So at least you have a direct hedge as well. So I think this really goes well with this tourism sector also, that you keep on spending without that worry, because you are already hedged by
Correct.
investing in this sector. I
Absolutely.
think that
Very valid point.
yeah, that could be one of the way you can be motivated and be comfortable investing in this.
It actually happened with me as well. I told my father that I am investor in this company where the hotel I stayed, and he said, "Oh, you are an investor. Okay, let us see, the hotel where we stayed in Somnath." So because I was an investor in myself, so that sense of kind of belongingness also comes because you are an investor in that company. You're going to stay in that kind of hotel. So it becomes very relatable for a retail investor, of course. Yeah.
Now I'll just try to pick up some questions.
Yeah.
What we had got, we had floated a form to a lot of investors, and investors had come up with certain questions, and there are few questions on the video also. So we'll pick up those. I think one of the questions you have already answered. What is the ideal holding, and where you said at least
3 years.
3 to 5 years is a good horizon for somebody who should look at this small case to invest. From diversification point of view, right? How much you think one can allocate to this basket? Like for example, if somebody is investing say 100 rupees in equity, assuming that 100 is the allocation of his overall say 500 rupees or 300 rupees, we are not getting into the asset allocation part of it. Assuming that he or she has already decided that allocation to equity should be say rupees 100. So what do you think should be a good allocation to this particular theme in the larger scheme of things that you said now, because there are already 7 to 8 sectors, subsectors which are already part of this theme. So would it be a good idea to see this sector not only with that tourism lens, but with a very larger diversified portfolio also? And in that context, what will be the ideal allocation?
Yeah. See, if the asset allocation is sorted, as you said, right? So we already sorted that, okay, equity is 100. I usually believe in 20, 30, 25% as your index kind of investing, right? As simple as that. Remaining can go full, right? In any other basket, whether it is a theme basket or it's a kind of a factor basket. The reason I am very kind of positive about putting a higher exposure here is because, as you said, it is not a sector specific. You should not see it as a sector theme basket at large, because it is factor driven at first place. It is growth and quality combination. Plus, it is sub 8 sectors already. So with that, I think if 100 is your equity allocation after your asset allocation is done, I personally do 20-25% of that in base index, which is NIFTY, right? Which is NIFTY as a base of our country, to kind of be part of the growth of the the larger companies in the country, and remaining 60, 70, 75% can go absolutely in a basket like this.
So
Again, they have to consult to their financial advisor, because I'm not a SEBI RIA. Yeah.
in one of your earlier conversation, Robin, today you just mentioned about domestic consumption or the domestic interest in the tourism versus like other countries where there is a lot of international dominance in the tourism sector. How do you see that also playing out in India from the composition? So when you say airline, right, how much of their revenues would be coming from domestic and international, or for that matter, hotels? Do you have some kind of insight on that piece as well? That okay, this is the domestic piece and this is the international piece which is contributing to their revenues and profits.
See, government from their perspective is trying their level best to kind of bring the international tourist to our country. Whether there were schemes like that, if you from US, if you're coming and you bring your 4 kind of friends and then they get free visa, right? That are the kind of schemes our country had. If you look at foreign exchange earnings, it contributes a very significant part in our kind of annual numbers, and that absolutely has to kind of increase. That was the question asked, because it was an India Today tourism kind of award function, and Shekhawat, Gajen Shekhawat ji, our Union Minister, kind of was referring the same point, that we are around 35th, 30th place in that kind of global index, and we want to be in the top 10. And of course, there are measures our government is taking to bring in the foreign money, which should not be now limited to say the Goas of the world. And now, for that example, now Goa has much less tourists than you see, right, in all of these places. However, for our companies, the kind of coverage we have to continue to sustain the kind of growth trajectory they are showing, I think domestic tourism has to play a major chunk of their revenue, and that is kind of aligns with Gen Z and kind of the alpha, kind of the new generation, because we of course, I mean, you and I have that kind of thing of office and buying a home and all that kind of aspirations. This new generation has a very different kind of aspirations, right? They believe in kind of weekend getaways and Airbnbs kind of setup, work from remote location kind of setup, and they spend. We used to save. I mean, if there's a difference, right? They spend money. So the saving versus kind of now spending kind of thing has changed, where for these companies to grow, it has to be, I mean, I don't have the number to kind of quote here, but for these companies to continuously grow at the rate they are growing, domestic tourism has to get further boost, and that is happening at a very fast pace. I experienced firsthand. See, I traveled to Thailand early last year. I use Indigo, for example, right, for my travel. I traveled to Dwarka, Somnath recently. I of course used of course local travel. I can see the kind of the kind of quality experience we have in this country. For example, at the new Rajkot airport, or now I have not been to Ayodhya, but we have seen the kind of air infrastructure they have built. I think, and the kind of economy which this Mahakumbh brought it to our country, right? It is mostly our own domestic tourism which kind of led to that growth, right? So I don't have the numbers to quote, but I think for these companies to, whether it is IRCTCs of the world, whether it is any good hotel chain of our country, we need to have increased domestic tourism, continue the same pace. International tourism becomes a very integral part. It is the same, like we used to say we don't need FIs, right? And we will survive with domestic money. Now we say no, we need FIs as well. Now we all realize after 6 months of being in this correction phase, it is something similar to that we do attract foreign tourists now, and that number is now also. So we were struggling after COVID to match pre-COVID numbers that we already met in 23. In 24 is an increase in that number. 25 we are kind of continuing to see the increase. So that's how it is. It is no longer a season of Russian people coming to Goa in few months. It is now, around the year. So that is how, because there are locations in our country which have good weather as well, even in those off season when they don't go to Goa. Then they go to Mathura, Kashi and whatnot. So that's how it is.
Got it. Interesting. I think in one of, again, earlier questions, you touched upon that, as you said, you have multiple sectors within this larger theme, tourism and travel. And one of the interesting sector, at least when I travel, and I'm sure you will relate to this, is that suddenly a lot of things which you carry while you travel has got into that lifestyle category. Earlier, they were more of utilities, right? Especially when we talk about, say, luggage. Now, luggage मतलब था कि अटैच ही है, ब्रीफकेस है, सूटकेस है, भाई उसमें सामान डालना है. Nobody got into the detailing of it, that क्या कलर होना चाहिए या क्या स्टाइल होना चाहिए and all that, right? And suddenly in last 2-3 years, out of nowhere, you are getting so many new age startups who have brought a fresh perspective to this whole category called a boring, so-called boring category called luggage, right? And that is where I see a lot of conversations happening around. It's like जैसे कपड़े खरीद रहे लोग वैसे luggage खरीदना शुरू कर दिया
Yeah,
लोगों ने.
yeah.
यार ये तो 2 बार हमने यूज कर दिया, अभी यार वापस नया लगेज चाहिए टाइप्स.
आप ऐसा सोचिए कि एयरपोर्ट भी शॉपिंग मॉल है ना. अभी एयरपोर्ट शॉपिंग मॉल हो गए, राइट? एयरपोर्ट आर नो लॉन्गर एयरपोर्ट. यू आर नॉट यूजिंग एयरपोर्ट फॉर एयरपोर्ट. यू हैव वहाँ सब कुछ मिलता है, राइट? आपका फ्रॉम योर फ्रॉम कपड़े से लेकर खाने से लेकर. सो दे आर शॉपिंग मॉल्स. People do reach early to experience the shopping mall, right? And they don't mind spending extra money, right? They buy expensive coffee, they buy expensive, whatever, pastry there, whatever, I mean. But the point is, that aspiration is new aspiration. That aspiration is middle class becoming, upper middle class. I think 20-30 crore people have come out from the kind of, from poor population to now middle class, right, over the last few years. That has inspiration, that has never gone out, that have not experienced airplanes, right? They want to experience it. They want to experience airports. And therefore, I mean, I think that is the place to be. I mean, why we should not be in that place? Why our money should not be in that place, which we can visibly see and experience ourselves.
Right. Great. So, I think we have covered most of the questions in our conversation as well. So, Robin, if you would like to maybe give some closing remarks, I have some thoughts, maybe whatever works. So, what I personally feel, I think India's tourism is not just now a cultural showcase, right? Earlier, India's tourism has always been associated with very, very limited lens of the cultural part of it. I think now things are moving beyond that. As Robin mentioned earlier, it's not only about, say, spiritual tourism. Now it's about medical tourism. There is, in fact, one of the I think what we missed, maybe it's about education tourism.
Yes.
Here it was all about going abroad. I think there are a lot of developing countries or countries which are not that developed like India, and which cannot afford to go to the other part of the world. In fact, India is becoming an education hub for that part of the world as well, and that is boosting a lot of tourism activity, I'm sure. So it's becoming an economic powerhouse, and I'm sure it is poised for some very exponential growth with the kind of developments what we are seeing all around. So the industry is set to transform, and as you rightly mentioned, Robin, that it is one of the largest employment generator, and I'm
Yes.
just a matter of time that it will become a major contributor to GDP as well, beyond employment, especially when unorganized to organized theme plays out. And that, at least personally, I've started to seeing in, say, luggage sector. I've started to seeing in, say, hotel chains. A lot of new age hotels are coming where you just check in, check out on your own. You will not find a single person in the hotel, and everything is happening at a click of a button. So all those things are happening around us. It's just that how we see them around us and how we have our own perspective on that, rather than just saying, no, this is just a passing trend, right? So yeah, I'm sure this is more than an opportunity. It's a chance to be part of this journey, the travel journey, of course, and of course the investment journey as well, by aligning with the innovative themes. I'm glad, Robin, you picked up this theme where we are just hitting that inflection point where we have just started realizing that how travel is the most important part of our life. And I'm sure there is a lot of philosophy around travel, which people have started appreciating now, that how it opens up your horizons, your perspectives, the way you look towards life, right? I think with that perspective also, people have started traveling a lot. So this is something which I personally related to this entire conversation, Robin, when we were just talking about all this journey of yours. So great, Robin. This is something I thought to share as a closing thoughts, but I would be glad to hear your thoughts as well, and how investors at small case can participate in this small case. If you can just throw some light, and I'm sure whenever we go out on a travel, we always look for deals. कि कहाँ अच्छा deal मिल रहा है, make money मिल रहा है, कि clear trip पे मिल रहा है. So I'm sure you have taken care of that as well, very thoughtfully so. So it will be great if you can share all those details, so that it is very convenient for people to go on this auspicious day today, where we call it a day of new beginnings. So I'm sure this could be metaphorically a great day to subscribe to Tourism Titans small case with a sweet deal what Robin has brought, and with some closing remarks as well, Robin.
And thank you so much, Rakeshji, for having me today. I think my closing remarks are that as a retail, right? So I've been seeing the journey of, say, now 16, 17 years of, kind of investing, working. And the easiest thing one should always kind of think is what they can relate to. Whenever somebody set up a meeting with me, I tell them, they ask me different products, and I said, what it relates to you? I mean, what you relate to? Because when we speak next time, it becomes very easy to kind of have a conversation, because you invested in something you relate to yourself. So this is one theme. This is actually that theme which you relate to on your day to day, right? This is a theme which, as you said, when you travel now, travel is no longer travel, right? From one place to another place now. It has now all the sub phases, from using the app you referred to as one of the company, right, which also can be a part of your investment journey if the company valuation is right. So looking at that, from picking up your phone to booking that kind of train or flight or whatever, to then going on the road, stopping by at Domino's or whatever and whatever, right, in terms of experiencing it, then reaching the destination, then again kind of spending money there. You experience that yourself. When you experience that yourself, as you said, you have a hedge directly that I'm spending money on this hotel, 10,000 rupees a night. I am already an investor. This money goes for me, right? This money goes for my investment. I mean, for the growth of my company. So my closing remarks are, I think, absolutely great day. I mean, Navratri starting, Ugadi, New Year, and of course, different names in different parts of our country. So I wish all of your viewers, a very happy Ugadi. As well, at the same time, I say, I'm not sure if the coupon code is shared in the link, because I can't see YouTube right now. But there is, of course, an offer which is valid for all our viewers as well as all our subscribers. So please do check out. If there are any questions they have, I'm absolutely available for one-to-one meetings. For my team is always available for support. Small Case is a fantastic platform. I mean, it's not to butter you there, but the point is, this is the only platform which could enable this to happen, right? So we, as I whenever I do on podcasts, I say that there are 40 odd fund houses in the country, but there are not enough products, right, in the country. There are very less products which needs to be in the basket, right? And there are limited large cap and kind of multi cap products. You need specific products. You need platform like Small Case, which can enable you to participate in the market. And SEBI kind of did introduce model portfolio for us, right? That is where, that is the power now, which we have to introduce a basket with the theme. And the only way for retail investor to invest in that is via Small Case in the country. So I think a very fantastic ecosystem here. And I think a great day. Let me know, I mean, in case, or let us know to the team in case any questions. A Small Case support team is also fantastic. So any questions, please redirect. And wish you happy travel, tourism, a lot of pilgrimage, and a lot of kind of experience in the next 1 year, with both with tourism titans as well as your personal life.
Perfect, Robin. I think thanks for those kind words. And as you rightly said, Smallcase, of course, is a great platform. But I think it's when a great publisher, as we call, or a great manager meets a great technology, that is where it becomes a very complete, wholesome experience for all of us at Smallcase. And we are really glad to have you here. It's been a fantastic journey with you as well as we continue. So for everybody's benefit, the promo code which people can use, which investors can use on this great day to subscribe this Tourism Titans is Tourism 20, and it's a great I think gesture from GoalFi team to introduce this discount for the early believers in the product and be part of this amazing journey. And I think Robin is again one of the manager who has been very I think forthcoming when it comes to engaging with all the clients, and that is where it makes all the more difference. So he has been hosting webinars every week with all the subscribers where he addresses all your concerns, all your queries about your investments, about the small cases what you have subscribed to him. And I think more than the returns, what I have personally as an investor believed in and appreciated about any small case manager is how much approachable he or she is when you require them the most, especially in tough times, to build that confidence, to build that journey more safe kind of thing. Because investing is a one-click thing, what small case have done. I think returns is, as Robin rightly mentioned, is more of an outcome than the process. I think we all should be part of that process. Money making was never easy and it will never be. So it's always good as investors, we should also evolve over a period of time. We should be upskilling ourselves to know more. We should be more curious about where our hard-earned money is going. I always keep on saying this to a lot of investors that nobody is interested in your money except you. So just saying that boss मैंने invest कर दिया मैं भूल गया and अभी जो होगा देखा जाएगा, I think not a great idea. Of course it works till the time it doesn't. And we have seen it all, that how things can just take a twist when you expect the least. So it's always good to be part of these conversations. Keep attending these webinars, what we keep on doing every Sunday with a lot of our small case managers. Be ready with your questions. Ask those tough questions because you have all the right, because you are trusting your money with some knowledge of the manager. So, and ask those questions before investing. I see a lot of people सब कर देते हैं, बोलता है ये हो गया अभी क्या करना है. So take your own time, ask those questions, go out with that confidence rather than in doubt. And once you go in, then go all in, and then you respect the whole philosophy, the process. Of course, you have to keep a tab whether the manager is following that process or philosophy or not. But then once you go in, then you need to trust the process. And on a lighter note, I keep on saying this to a lot of investors, and especially we are talking about tourism, कि एक बार फ्लाइट में बैठ गए फिर आप बोलोगे कि बॉस बीच में उतरना नहीं, अभी तो फ्लाइट सीधे लंदन उतरेगी. आई थिंक that's the level of trust, confidence you should build with your manager, whoever it is. And once you start the journey, be with it and give it some respectable time, which is around 3 to 5 years for any portfolio to get the desired results over a period of time. And the best part, and I think a lot of luck on our side as Indians, that we are part of this country at this time, that we are able to participate in a lot of opportunities around us. I think a lot of things are just happening because of that macros being in our favor. And of course थोड़ा काम तो हमको भी करना पड़ेगा, सब कुछ खुद ब खुद नहीं होगा. So please get yourself involved and evolve, and just be in touch with Robin. Just feel free to attend his webinars every Sunday, which he does with all his subscribers as a value add to the subscription what you have already done. So this is something, Robin, from my side, and wish you a very happy new year and festive greetings. And thanks a lot for taking time out. I know you just landed today in the morning, finishing your trip. I'm sure you would be tired, but I don't see that. You look fresh, and that is again another good effect of travel tourism, that you bring a lot of energy, a lot of new perspectives to the table, and so that you can go on your work afresh again. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Rakesh ji. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful festive day.
Perfect.
Speak to you. Take care.
Thank you.
Everybody. Bye.